We are live. Welcome to a special edition to the CK podcast. I'm your host, Leo Bias. Welcome to the Basketball Zone YouTube channel. Today was Media Day across the NBA for a lot of teams. Some teams have already had Media Day, but it was the Media Day for the Sacramento Kings, and I have a lot of takeaways. I'm just happy to be back. I know it's been a long time since we've gone live on this YouTube channel. That's going to change. We're back. It's basketball season. That's what Media Day means to me, okay? Because across the NBA, you're going to get a lot of positivity from every single team, even from the Blazers, who will not be good this year. I mean, I was listening to DeAndre Ayton saying he's going to be a menace, and he's a gritty type of guy, and he's this and he's that. I'm like, where was that in Phoenix? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Everyone has positive things to say at Media Day. That's just the way it is. That's how it's always been for every single team across the NBA, right? But what I love the most about Media Day, again, is that we're an inch closer to the NBA season. But first, training camp, then preseason, and then the NBA season. I can't wait for that. How is everybody doing? What's up, Sam? Let's go. Feels good to be back. It really does. It feels really good to be back. A huge shout out to Medici Sacramento, who is and will be your go-to spot before and after games. The best pizza in Sacramento, locally owned and operated. I love those guys. They have amazing cocktails, but they're known for their pizza, Neapolitan style. Huge shout out to them. I can't wait for you guys to continue to go there and support all your local businesses. But shout out to Medici Sacramento, as always, for supporting the Cowbell Kingdom platforms. What a day. What a day, y'all. Make sure you guys like this video, share it. I know it's going to take a while to get this running back and up because, you know, YouTube hates it when you go off for a long time, but it's all good, man. Biggest takeaways for today's Media Day. For me, the biggest was hearing so many players on this team rave about Sasha. Sasha, as you can see, the title of this video, of this stream, is he one of the best shooters in the world already? It's a fascinating question because we have yet to really see that, but when De'Aaron Fox is literally saying he is one of the best shooters in the world, the things we have seen him do already in all these drills, and again, it's not an NBA game. He's done it in Europe, which is a real testament to his greatness when it comes to shooting. That's a big deal. So I don't want to say, oh, well, he hasn't done it in the NBA like he's done it professionally. This ain't college basketball where you're an unknowing going into the NBA. This dude has done it. He is a EuroLeague MVP. And to hear a guy who's so transparent, so honest in De'Aaron Fox to say he's one of the best shooters in the world, that brings joy to my heart because you can always use an extra 6'9" sniper on this team and this system. So yeah, lots of smiles, man. It's crazy. You know, Kevin Huerter was talking about that. Like, was it Fox or I forget who it was. It was Huerter or was it Harrison Barnes? One of those three had said that. I think he missed 7 shots out of like over 100, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, we'll bring up some of those sound bites, but the numbers were just insane. It's stuff that you don't ever really hear. And this dude, when he gets on the roll, he's just hard to stop. And that's awesome because when you play with Sabonis, when you play with Fox, you're going to get a lot of shots, a lot of quality open shots. And Sasha is a guy that knocks down big shots. I can't wait to actually see it in the NBA game. I know it's going to happen. Even last year with Keegan, where he had some stretches where the shot wasn't falling, but damn, that shot is so smooth. It looks so good when it comes out of his hands. And the same goes for Sasha. So now you got 2 6'8" plus type of dudes who can shoot lights out. That is a very good thing for the Sacramento Kings and his fan base. Does Sasha come off the bench, or is it addressed throughout preseason? I think he's going to come off the bench, but it's definitely something that you got to think about. I don't think he's a guy that's me, ego. He's a guy that's a team player. He's won at the highest levels. I said it last year. I thought Harrison should be your new sixth man. Obviously, with the contract extension, that's not going to happen. He's going to start for you. Keegan's going to start for you. So those two guys automatically are your starters right there. So, yes, Sasha will most likely come off the bench unless an injury happens. But he's going to come off your bench, right? Your starting five doesn't change. There are people who have asked me, do I think Malik is better than Kevin? I think he's better, but I think his best role is coming off the bench. I really do. The way this current roster is constructed, in my opinion. So your starting five doesn't change. But just going back, steering it back to media day, so much positivity. But again, the biggest takeaway for me was the fact that De'Aaron Fox and others are already saying that Sasha is one of the best shooters in the world. Like, that is crazy. That's awesome to hear. So I love it. Let's hear a little bit of what Mike Brown had to say in today's media day. Let me see. Let me bring it up for you. Okay, here we go.
The connectivity that they had over the summer. So having the nucleus, the group back, giving these guys a chance to grow and see if we can grow from within, gives me and everybody else a little bit of a comfort zone because we've all been through a lot of stuff together. And so it's now just time to continue to build on that narrative as opposed to last year when you're coming in. We really didn't know much about anything. All we could do is hope, guess, assume, and pray. And this year you have a little bit more to lean on based on the performance of last year and what we did over the summertime.
Continuity, one of the biggest topics in today's media day. I was talking to a lot of different people. That's one of the big topics, right? The other one was Mike Brown already putting it out there. And De'Aaron Fox putting that out there. Making the playoffs last year was awesome. We finally broke the curse. But if you're not in it to win it, then what are you doing? Their goal is to win the NBA championship. They want to be championship contenders. And that was one of the big things that I tried to convey a few days ago when Drew Holiday was going to be dealt by the Blazers. And I saw a lot of comments that kind of rubbed me off the wrong way because people say, or some people thought that it's not time for the Kings to make a big move or a big splash. But the reality is, when will it be time to make a big move and a big splash? This is the time. Teams have windows. And the one word that I hate the most, and it's a word that I just despise, man. I hate it because too many people use it way too loosely. And it's just something that doesn't fit in my vocabulary because I'm a type of guy that likes to win at life. And I want the Kings to win at all costs. I want them to bring an NBA championship to Sacramento. And too many people use that damn word. That I honestly, I don't even know if I want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I have to say it. And it's timeline. When people say, oh, he doesn't fit the timeline, it's like, bro, the Kings have 2 All-NBA players. They legitimately have 2 All-NBA players. It's been over 20 years since that's happened. What do you mean they're not contenders? Like, you were a top 3 seed last year. If your expectations aren't 3 or better this year, what are you playing for? Yeah, they were fortunate that a lot of injuries went against a lot of other teams, and the Kings were relatively healthy. But you can't take away the success that they had, the marvelous job that Mike Brown and his coaching staff did. So, yeah, I'm going to say it. The Kings need to finish in the top 5 for this year to be a successful year. And I'll be honest, they got to finish top 3. That's how I feel about this team. They got deeper. And reasons why I was saying that they should have, and this correlates to one of the topics, which is continuity, right? I understand continuity, but I also understand that it takes stars to win championships, and it takes unselfish stars like a Drew Holiday to win championships. And when I said that I believe he would make your team a championship contender, I meant that because they have a lot of good role players, but they need someone like a Drew Holiday, like an OG, to essentially uplift you to that next tier of contention. So, yeah, when someone says timeline, it really irritates me. I really, really hate that word because people don't know how to use that word, or people take it too literal. Where everybody got to be the same age to win the champ. I'm like, bro, like, are you? That's not how you win championships. You have to have a mixture of different ages, experiences. This guy is an NBA champion. Obviously, he already got traded to the Celtics, but I did want to address this point because I agree that continuity is really important, but I also will always say that talent overpowers anything. It's just the truth. No matter how great of a coach you are, if you are outmatched on the other side with better talent, and when I mean talent, yeah, everybody's talented. I mean, I'm talking about star power, right? Like when MJ would beat all these teams back in the days. Yeah, they had Malone, Stockton, those, Seattle teams with George Karl. Like, you can only do so much as a coach. When you have true stars who can execute your game plan and then just absolutely take over, that's just a whole different ballpark. So, yes, I'm going to bet on the talent 1,000% every single time. That's just what I'm going to do. And the biggest reason why the Kings were out of the sweepstakes was because they couldn't move HB, and he was the only player that can match $36 million coming back with Drew Holiday. Kevin Huerter, Davion wasn't enough to match that salary because the Kings don't have that much space. So, yeah, that was the biggest reason why they really weren't in the finalists of the Drew Holiday sweepstakes. But going back to continuity, yeah, it's important. And Coach talked about that today, right? Same faces. We faced adversity last year. We know what to expect now in some way, which, again, it's a good thing. But De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, they got to take even a bigger step this year for this team to continue to move forward and progress in the right direction. And as Fox said, I want to win the championship now. Like, those are my goals. That's my goal. And that should be your goal. You have to be all in or don't do it at all, in my opinion. And I feel like they have the right leadership in place to have those goals, and potentially with the right moves made and the internal growth of these teams, like a Keegan Murray, which he's going to be so critical this year. Like, they need that internal growth from Keegan, and have, some stuff to share from what I heard from him and others. But the Kings are going to really bank on his internal growth and a big season from Keegan. And it's exciting because Keegan really loves basketball. He's a great kid. And, yeah, as I posted on Instagram, he got some smiles out there. How's everybody doing, man? Much love to everybody. Again, it's fun to be back, man. It really is. What's up, Tanvir, my guy? Media Day, yes, sir. Is the world old? Right. Is the word old? Yes. It's that word, man, that I don't even want to say. Timeline. But continuity is very important. And you should want to have aspirations to finish in the top 3 again. And even if you have some injuries this year, you have guys that can come in and make a difference for you. Harrison Barnes talked about that as well. You got JaVale McGee, who's an NBA champion. You have guys like Chris Duarte, who showed so much promise his rookie year when he played with Sabonis. And he's back. He's a dude that can score on all 3 levels. He can cut marvelously. He is a dude who will do whatever it takes to help his team win games. And you have to have these types of role players on your team, and he's one of those guys. And then you add Sasha to the mix. So those 3 guys right there is a huge improvement on this roster. Then you got Trey Lyles, who was talking about, who just got engaged, who has a book club, and who's excited to be back. And he's going to play some backup 5. He just is on some nights where if you're not going up against a monster of a backup center or even a great center, McGee may not play that night, right? It's just one of those things where this team finally has a lot of different options to go to. But it's going to come down to Fox and Sabonis and who can step up when Fox has an off night, because it's going to happen. Is it going to be Malik? Is it going to be Kevin? Some guys are more than capable, and obviously we expect a big year from Davion Mitchell this year. Let's be honest. A lot of people, when we talked about the Drew Holiday, I saw a lot of comments saying, no, well, we can't give up the depth. There's just no way Davion is a future Drew Holiday. It's like, bro, like sometimes fans have to understand that just because you fall in love with a role player and you think highly of them, it doesn't mean they're the next Drew Holiday or they're the next whoever star, just because they have similar characteristics. And I do want to bring up when it was a B-ball breakdown stat, and it was the top 10 in primary defender involvement rate. Davion Mitchell was number 1, which is really good. Drew Holiday was number 2. Now think about this, and you know, let's go down the list: Caruso, Grimes, Dort, Caleb Martin, Melton, Bridges, McDaniels, and Tsumu. All really good defenders. But you have to add context to this, because out of all those guys, right, only 2 are stars, right? Drew Holiday and Mikal Bridges. 1 is a proven champion who can do it on the biggest stage. As you know, a younger Mikal with the Suns wasn't there all the way there yet. Like he had his breakout season last year with the Nets after he got traded. He's already showing those signs with the Suns. But Drew Holiday to be number 2 in top 10 primary defender involvement rate, and Mitchell being 1, doesn't mean, oh my God, he's the next Holiday. Which, if you add context to this, it means here's a guy in the Holiday who is your starting guard for the not defending champions, but a championship caliber team in the Bucks, who's going to give you 18, 20 points a game, six boards, 6 assists, and defends your best player every single night and plays big time minutes. Davion Mitchell doesn't play big time minutes. Davion Mitchell doesn't get you 20 points a night, doesn't give you 18 points a night, right? Especially on the Kings. So even though it's nice to see him number 1, it's always so important to add the context to, hey, yes, he's really good defensively in Davion, but he's no Drew Holiday, and he's not going to be Drew Holiday. There's a big size difference there. There's a big experience factor there. I don't see that happening. I really don't, because Drew Holiday, I feel comfortable him guarding 1 through 3. Even though I've seen Davion guard guys like Paul George, who are 6'8", he can just rise up and shoot over him. Yes, they can do the same over Drew, but it's a little bit different when you're 6'4" with the plus wingspan, and you have so much experience and so much strength. Again, Davion is amazing. Now, it almost sounds like I'm knocking Davion, right? But I just don't like it when fans are so afraid of giving up role players for a star that can help you win and elevate you to a different level that that you haven't been to since 2002. So when I see opportunities like that, yeah, I'm going to push it on my platform. That's just the way it is. I'm that type of guy that likes to take risks. And if you're not taking risks, what are you doing? Especially if you're a small market team. Look at the Bucks. They took a risk. Did they get a lot better? They got better offensively. But I can now with Drew going to the Celtics, I believe the Celtics are the best team in the Eastern Conference. I really do. Tatum, Drew, and Jalen? Are you kidding me? I love Dame. He's my favorite player. Giannis is top 3 favorite player for me. And now they're on the same team. They're both monsters. But the reality is, with a guy like Middleton coming back, and, you know, he's had a lot of injuries already. There's a difference between having Dame and having Drew, where Dame needs the ball in his hands, and Drew is selfless in so many different ways. Like, he's a guy that can play off the ball, on the ball. Dame is better on the ball. So what I'm trying to allude to is that the Bucks, even though on paper may seem better, there's still a lot of factors and variables that we haven't talked about in terms of them going all the way in the Eastern Conference. I just think the Celtics are better constructed. They have better depth. And they have just better players. The best player is Giannis out of both teams. And, you know, with the game on the line, yeah, I'm going to want Dame to have the ball, but he's also going to give up a lot of points with whoever he's guarding, because he's not a good defender. He's a terrible defender. And these are all factors that you got to think about. But you know what? The Bucks took the risk, and tie it back to this. You have to take risks to win championships. They have a window. And honestly, man, I think it was somebody who said that they don't want to take the risk because Drew was a free agent. He has a player option, which he's probably going to opt out, right? And I'm like, you are aware that you're eventually going to have to make a decision between Kevin and Malik, because the fact that Malik's at $8 million, $9 million, somewhere around there, and Kevin's like, what, $14 million, $15 million? That's not going to stay that way, right? So both guys are probably going to be anywhere from $18 to $22 million soon. And you're going to have to make a decision on who to keep. I really believe it's going to come down to that. And the way I foresee this team is, yes, they're going to have internal growth from Keegan, who's on the rookie deal, which is different. So to me, it was like, okay, so do you take the risk with Drew Holiday with 1 year, or do you take the risk with, you know, one last year with both Malik and Kevin? That's really what it boiled down to, right? That's how I rationalize some of these decisions, these big, oh, it's a huge risk. I'm like, it's really not a big risk because now you have the bird rights to Drew Holiday. But again, enough on that Drew Holiday. That was why I thought that Drew Holiday was just such a great fit for any team, but especially for this team who, again, he would have taken so much pressure off of De'Aaron Fox. I was talking to Mark Jones earlier, and we talked about this. It's just so hard for a point guard like him, who's a two-way player now, being so good defensively, just exerting so much energy defensively, and still having to run the team and score and deliver in the clutch. You need somebody to take that pressure off of De'Aaron Fox, and Drew Holiday was that guy, and he's going to do that for Jason Tatum. And they're like, oh, well, they just replaced him for Marcus Smart. Bro, y'all got to stop that. Like, Drew Holiday is so much better than Marcus Smart overall. Come on, y'all. Like, Marcus Smart ain't going to get you those type of points, man. That's just crazy. And on top of that, I heard spacing issues. I'm like, dude, he's a 40% three-point shooter. But, you know, neither here nor there. Going back to Media Day, how's everybody doing, man? How does it say? Sasha replacing Barnes before the trade deadline. Okay. I was hearing some noises in the back. I was like, what the hell is that? I'm like, is it my car? No, it's not my car. Sasha replacing Barnes before the deadline. it's a real possibility. You know, the Kings moving on from Barnes. Obviously, right now, Tyson told me that both Siakam and OG looked already checked out at media day. Obviously, I have to watch it for myself, but the biggest name, it's going to be OG come that deadline, because he's going to have to get paid by somebody, and someone's going to take the risk in going for OG. And yes, OG would be marvelous on the Sacramento Kings. We all know that. And Harrison Barnes is one of those chips that you have to be able to move. $18 million is not a bad deal for a guy like that. You know, it's not an amazing deal by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a good deal for sure. And that's one of your pieces that you're going to have to be able to use and swing for the fences, because you're going to have teams like the Lakers and the Suns, who I think will have some issues early on. And it's not all going to be kumbaya for those teams, right? So one of these powerhouses in the West, and the Kings are one of the powerhouses, someone's going to make a move at the deadline. But obviously that's far-fetched right now. We're still in, it's October 2nd. And it's fun to talk about these things. But yes, it's definitely something to think about moving forward. I love Leo. Keep doing your thing, bro. Haters gonna hate, man. What do we say about that? You know, it's all good. Need OG ASAP. But yes, De'Aaron Fox talking about championship. Love it. Like I really do. Let's listen to some of the other things that we saw today. You know, Trey Lyles excited to be back. I saw some of the comments on Kevin.
If anything, right. You look at it in its totality, or are you kind of at peace with it now?
No, I don't think it's something I've been thinking about all summer, and had a poster on my wall, and it's been like, the Warriors, like getting back at them. Like I said, just I think we had a lot of confidence in the locker room last year, a lot of expectations. We had a great season, and thought that was a winnable series for us, especially getting up 2-0 at home, and they're a championship team. So that's what they do. Obviously, I think if you ask a player on their team, they'd say they had more confidence, or their expectations were high. So just looking forward to going through it again this year. We get them at home, I think, for our home opener, and should be a good game, and hopefully get off to a good start to the season.
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
If anything, and you look at it in its totality, or are you kind of at peace with it now?
It's tough. This is the West. This was the West. Even when I got traded here last year, the West was tough. And there were some teams that saw the injury bug, or a couple trades happen, or things didn't pan out. And that really doesn't change what we do inside this building. I think we're really comfortable with the guys that we have coming back, and having some continuity of last year and last season, and continue to just do what we do. And the rest will take care of itself. But a lot of teams made a lot of changes for sure.
So, as he said, the West is tough. He understands that the coaches have high expectations for them, which is a good thing, right? He doesn't lose sleep over the playoffs, which I saw a lot of the comments. You were the worst player. You were this, you were that. Like, he struggled. I think we all know that. I was like, what's that noise? Okay. I think we all know that. And this is a big year for him, because if he does want to get paid the way he wants to get paid, he needs to have a monster year, in my opinion. And it's going to be good for the Kings, right? We saw Keegan talk about potentially playing for the national team.
Just to be involved in that this year, I kind of just want to get my foot in the door, learn the FIBA game, meet the coaches, talk with the coaches, things like that. So whether it's next year or the year after, whenever it is, 10 years from now, I feel like it'd just be a cool opportunity for me to kind of experience that at some point. So. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've had a lot of breakthrough moments, but I feel like the playoffs kind of exemplified the rest of them. And I feel like the last 3 games or so, I found something in myself. And to have it end, I feel like just brought more hunger and more confidence in me into the off season, and know that I can play at the highest level in basketball. So just continuing that and looking back at that and knowing what I did those last couple of games.
Yeah, as you said, the playoffs was really a breakthrough for him. And as you said, he had lots of breakthrough moments last year. But the playoffs to me was where, like, okay, he has arrived. He has a very bright future. The kid has a strap. He can shoot from anywhere. And a lot of his self improvement is his ability to create for himself off the dribble. Not so much as De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis creating for him and getting them those high quality shots that he did get. The next level for him is to self-create and create for himself, but also for others. So it's going to be a big year for him, and I'm excited because he loves basketball. You know, he was talking about his experience with Team USA, with the small team, and how he really enjoyed playing with Cade Cunningham. You know, it was one of those things where Cade is also another name who is projected to have a big year this year, barring injury, obviously. He's been riddled with injuries, but Cade Cunningham is former number 1 pick, and it's a big year for him. But I thought that was interesting to listen to him say that he really enjoyed playing with a guy like Cade Cunningham. And then we heard JaVale McGee talk about going full circle, his mom playing for the Monarchs, and now he's here, and how he approaches a game. So all those cool things from JaVale McGee, and the experience, the rim protection that he's providing for this team, which it's been needed for a long time. So I like that. But one of the things that stood out to me
And I can't wait.
was Jalen Noel, right?
I know. Oh, big surprise. It was free agency. I was, waiting to the last, kind of the last minute, and got that call, and felt like this was going to be a good fit for me.
Take us through that a little bit. Like you said, waited the last minute. Why do you feel that was?
I was just, trying to see what was out there. So I just, continued to wait till I felt like it was the right decision. Felt like the place that, that contacted me felt like a good spot. I came here, say, like a couple weeks ago, and just felt really, really, really good. Felt included from the jump, and met all the coaches, met the front office, and just felt really comfortable here.
Is it validating to kind of bet on yourself and then to get a call from a playoff team that wants you, and knowing that the patience paid off? Is that validating?
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that. It was a long off season, but for them to call and say they want me, it just felt really great.
Felt really great. Big opportunity for him. He's had his good moments with Minnesota. He also talked about, he didn't go into details about it, but a lot of off-court issues with that team, and why it didn't work out, and why he had a bad year last year, right? I think it was a previous year, from what I recall, that he had a solid year. He's had good moments. What does it really mean for this team? I'm not really sure. It's going to be tough for him to break the lineup, if I'm being honest, because you have Davion, you have Malik Monk, you got Kevin, you got Chris Duarte. I don't see how he cracks the lineup. You're going to have a lot of injuries for him to play there. So how much stock do I put into any of this? Not much. But let's listen to De'Aaron Fox.
The feeling that you guys had here before. We have high expectations for ourselves. Like we all want to win a championship. I think that's our next goal. Your next goal isn't to just get out of the first round. Like, you don't get anything for that. So for us, that's our next step. That's what we want to achieve as a team, and I'm sure everybody in here has obviously individual goals, but I think they all stem back to us being a better team. So that's what we're worried about. That's all we're worried about. We're trying to come in from day one, and we're trying to achieve that goal.
Is this one of the
That's right, baby. Either you're all in or you're out. Play to win. Play to win an NBA championship, man. That's the only way. You shout out to Taqueria La Perla Tapatia, who just got recognized by Yelp's top 100 best taco spots in the nation. Number 29 overall in the country. Big time news for this city to have a place that's locally owned and operated, and to help them with their marketing and the way we have the last 10 months. It's been a true joy to work with them, and their food is amazing. Everybody who has been there understands how good La Perla is. I just did a hit with KCRA and Lisa Gonzalez. We're going to do 2 more this week with Studio 40 and Good Day Sacramento on National Taco Day, which is on Wednesday. So tomorrow is Taco Tuesday, so make sure you guys hit them up. La Perla off Marconi and Watts. Second location's in Rosa off of Fairway next to In-N-Out. It's called La Nueva Vallarta. Same logo. Obviously different name, but it's literally the same thing. Make sure you guys check them out. So much positive stuff again coming out of Media Day, as there was across the NBA. That's just the way Media Day is. It's, to me, I've done like 10 of these. It just means we're an inch closer to NBA basketball, and that's always a good thing. And I just want to thank everybody who tuned in again. It's going to take us a while to get this back to where we had it at, but make sure you guys tune in on iTunes, on all social media platforms. I'm going to try to post some of the best parts on Instagram where we have the most traction. Obviously, we love our community on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. You guys are always supporting Raiders, Niners stuff as well on Instagram, Republic. Lots of local sports. Media Day, man. It was a good time. Make sure you guys check this out in its entirety if you didn't. If you tuned in now, if you're going to tune in later, I appreciate you guys, man. It's fun to be back. It's what I love doing. So I can't wait for film sessions later in the season. Man, NBA basketball. Best time of the year is October. We got the playoffs starting tomorrow. It's going to be fun, y'all. So on behalf of the entire CK family, Basketball Zone family, I thank you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.